الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أيها المسلمون، اتقوا الله حق التقوى واعلموا إنها هي وصية الله للأولين والآخرين. قال تعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. My brothers, as individuals, some of us are going through an identity crisis. It's quite visible that our communities are suffering also from an identity crisis, and as a whole, the Ummah itself is going through an identity crisis. There are many different ways, but one of them is the idea of what a man truly is. What defines manhood? So unfortunately, you will find within our societies, in our homes, in our cultures, people defining manhood based on stereotypes. If you ask someone what is a man, they will say somebody who is strong, somebody who has the ability to overpower other people. But this definition is incorrect. Hud alayhi salam, when he came to his people, he said to them, إِذَا بَطَشْتُمْ بَطَشْتُمْ جَبَّارِينَ. When you fight with other people, when you come to conflict with other people, you overpower them with your strength. But what does he say in the next ayah? His advice to them, the reason why he was sent to them, he said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. Fear Allah and obey me, the messenger. Hud alayhi salam. Imam Qurtubi said that this description of them being strong and powerful is actually a negative characteristic to describe the people of Hud. Allah is using these words to describe them negatively because they actually thought that they were strong, and this is what made them men. So this is one definition that you will find within the stereotype. What is a man? Stereotypically is somebody who is strong. You might ask somebody else, what is a man? How do you know this man is a real man? What is his manhood? What are the characteristics? And this is very common, that they will use their culture to define what a man is. Irrespective of what culture it is, most of these cultures are agreed that a man is somebody who is successful in the dunya. He has a nice job, he has a nice salary, maybe he's very well attractive, he has fair skin. This man is the best man. This actually happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. He was sitting there with his companions, radiallahu anhum, and a man walked past them. And the Prophet ﷺ asked them a question to make them think. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, "Ma ra'yuka fi hada?" What's your opinion on this man that's walking past us? And then they started to describe him in the best of possible ways. He is a man because... And they said, "Hada wallahi." They said, with us there is no doubt. They swore by Allah, there is no doubt. Hariyun, he has the most right within society. In khataba an yunkeh. If a man comes and says, do you want to marry my daughter, do you want to marry my sister, automatically he is accepted. Because he is rich, he has status, he has a good job. In shafa'a an yushaffi'. If he says something, they will accept his word. Because he is rich. Just because he has money, it puts him in the status to give advice. It puts him in the status that he is somebody that we will take his word. Another man walked past not long after, and the Prophet ﷺ said the same thing. "Ma ra'yuka fi hada?" What is your opinion upon this man now? And then they started to describe it in the worst possible way. He is poor, he doesn't look very nice. And then they said, "Hada wallahi hariyun." Again, they said the same thing. Wallahi, there is no doubt in our minds, they swore by Allah, that this person, in khataba an la yunkih, if he wants to marry one of our daughters, we will never give him to her. If he wants to marry my sister, never. This person, he's too poor, he's not attractive, وَإِن شَفَعَ لَا يُشَفِّ. If he speaks, nobody cares what he has to say. His opinion is not valued. The lesson here in this hadith, my brothers, pay attention to this very carefully, because this is the message that why our cultures are going wrong, and this is what we are teaching our children and why they are going wrong. Prophet ﷺ said, خير, the second one, خير من الأرض مثل هذا. The second man is better than the whole dunya and all it contains than the first man. Why? What's the message? The ulama have explained that this hadith, that this second man is much better than the first man, because the first man saw his manhood and he saw that he can only actually be a man if he had material success. Whereas the second man, he was poor, maybe he didn't look so good, but his success was not material. His success was based on ikhlas. His success was based on doing good deeds. So this is another definition of how we get manhood. Culturally, how do we know what a man is? How do we know he has manhood? Because he is successful. It's a good job. Now, unfortunately, the youth, stemming on from this one, are being told to chase the dunya. Now, if you tell a 1-year-old that we're going to live in this dunya, the message you're going to give to them that we're going to live in this dunya, his idea of living in the dunya is different to somebody who's 30. Somebody who's 30, he wants to have a nice car, a nice house. What's living for the dunya for a 1-year-old, for a 2-year-old, for a 15-year-old? It's different. But the attachment to the dunya is the same. So now the youth, unfortunately, my brothers, they're into sports. They think somebody who's an athlete, who's very good, skillfully, this is going to be a very good man in the future. Or maybe he is technologically advanced. He's clever, look how clever he is. Or maybe he has a large following, he's very popular, social media, all of this. He is very, very clever. He's going places. If we look, now this is another thing which I want you to pay attention to, and hopefully if you can go away and if you have time, Allah describes the society that the Prophet ﷺ, when he came, in one surah. And this is Surah A'raf. If you want to know how Jahiliyyah society was before the coming of the Prophet ﷺ, a lot of it's described in Surah A'raf. And in Surah A'raf, Allah repeats the message of lahu and la'ib. Everything they used to do was completely idle. It was just for the sake of the dunya. It was just so that they can fulfill their desires and have a good time. So they can become enjoyment, really. That's all it was. So Allah says in one example, الَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا دِينَهُمْ لَهْوًا وَلَعِبًا. These people, they've taken this religion, or their religion, as a religion of idleness. Let's have fun, let's waste our time, let's play. How many times do we see the word play in our societies today? But here in Islam, play in this context has no place. It's actually something which is negative. Because Allah says, وَغَرَّتْهُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. They are deceived by this dunya because they think this dunya is a place for them to play and have a laugh and be amused. This is where the youth are going. But what's going to happen in the akhirah for these kind of people? فَالْيَوْمَ نَنْسَاهُمْ كَمَا نَسُوا لِقَاءَ يَوْمِهِمْ هَذَا. Allah is going to neglect them on that day just as they neglected and were idle and were just having a life of amusement in the dunya. So it's something very important that we define what manhood is. And in fact, the cultural definition of what manhood is takes precedence in most of our homes. And in fact, this happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where the cultural definition came out, and the Prophet ﷺ actually got angry. So one day, he got Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu to get something from the top of the tree. He was a young man. Can you get something from the top of the tree? So he went to the top of the tree, and they started laughing at him, because the cultural definition of what man is was not present in him. They started laughing at his stature. He was very skinny. He was very poor. He wasn't very strong. Like we talked about before. Prophet ﷺ rebuked it. He rejected it and he got upset. He said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ. By the one whose hand is my soul, لَهُمَا أَثْقَلْ فِي مِيزَانٍ مِنْ أُحُدٍ. These two legs are heavier on the day of judgment on the scale than the mountain of Uhud. mountain of Uhud, 3 kilometers high approximately, 10 kilometers long approximately. It's been there for centuries, not shaken. His legs, just his legs, will be heavier on the scales than this mountain on the Day of Judgment. The Prophet ﷺ changed their concept. That manhood is driven by something else, not what you understand. So what is manhood in Islam? And unfortunately, in this khutbah we will not be able to cover all of the traits of manhood. But one of the biggest ones, and I will choose the main important one, is that a man is somebody who is firm in his iman and tawheed. In fact, his manhood is defined by his iman. You take his iman away, his manhood will decrease. And this actually occurs in a conversation in Surah Kahf, the one that we recite every Friday. There's a discussion between a man who is an atheist and a man who is a believer in Surah Kahf. So Allah says about the man who is an atheist, he says about himself, وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. I don't believe that there's going to be a day of judgment. I just don't believe it. We've been created by accident, we will die, and that's khalas. I don't think we're going to be resurrected and being told to account for our deeds. وَلَئِن رُدِدْتُ. If there is a day of judgment, he's arguing for the sake of argument. He's agreeing with the sake of argument with his friend. وَلَئِن رُدِدْتُ. Even if I was to go back, look at this analogy that he's giving here. وَلَئِن رُدِدْتُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. He thinks that in the dunya he's been given nice gardens, nice clothes, nice things. Allah's given it to him in the dunya. So if I'm going to be resurrected to an everlasting place, then surely I will get more than what I had here, multiplied there. It makes common sense to me. But this is the analogy of Iblis. This is what Iblis did. And this is how he got misguided. But what did the Iman, what did the man person, what did the man who had actual manhood with Iman say to him? What was his response? He said, قَالَ لَهُ صَاحِبُهُ. He said to his friend, وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ. He was dialogue with him, he was speaking to him nicely. أَكَفَرْتَ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ. Do you really believe that nothing that created you from absolute nothing, you come from absolute non-existence, you have been created, was by chance? ثُمَّ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ. Okay, so the first man was created by clay and dust. But you were created from a single cell. You probably can't even see with your naked eye. You were created from this. You were created from nutfah. ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا. Then Allah created you a man. Look, he's saying man. Because the man who has iman and realizes that this is what makes him a man, he will attribute this manhood and the creation to Allah. So he's saying you've become this creation. How did you come about? He continues, لَكِنَّهُ اللَّهُ رَبِّي. He is my Lord who has created me. وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. This is the true man. I will never associate partners or fall into shirk with Allah. Because He is the one who's made me a man. So look, in this small dialogue we find that a true man is somebody who establishes himself in iman, that he believes in a creator. He worships that creator. He believes that there is a last day. The other one didn't. And he is able to repel the doubts that come to him from society, from these people who are trying to take this manhood away from him. And he doesn't have an inferiority complex. He doesn't run away. He doesn't say, well, maybe you're right, or maybe I don't want to talk to you about this. He is firm in his iman. He is firm in his ilm. He is firm in his aqeedah. This is what makes you a real man, my brothers. And this is why Allah sent every single prophet to his nation as a man. Allah says in the end of Surah Yusuf, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالٍ. We have not sent anyone except true men with proper manhood. Rijal. Allah says Rijal. Nuhi ilayhim. Allah gave them the message. Message of what? Message of Tawheed. To worship Allah alone. And to be sincere to the creation. Now this is a very important point, my brothers. How do we know that we are following the Prophet ﷺ properly? How do we know this? You can only know that you are a true follower of Muhammad ﷺ if you seek to complete your manhood. How so? Prophet ﷺ came to us with Tawheed, and he wanted to spread Tawheed to mankind because he was sincere. He knows this is the haqq, and he knows this is good for all of us. So if this was his message, then we need to carry that message on. And it occurs in Surah Yasin that Allah sent a messenger or a prophet to a place in Iraq. They wanted to kill him. So So Allah sent another one. They wanted to kill them both. فَأَزَّزْهُمَا بِثَالِث. That Allah sent a third one, 3 prophets in one city. Can you imagine 3 prophets in Birmingham trying to teach them Tawheed, but they wanted to kill them all. Literally stop everything. But a believer who was a real man, a believer who's been described as being sincere in his belief, came forward. And Allah says, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. He came from the furthest part of the city to the place where they were, and he was in haste, he was running, he was sincere. Yes, he wasn't just walking. قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ. He said, oh my people, please, stop what you're doing. اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. They are sincere for you. They want what is good for you. If you follow them, you will be complete in your manhood. If you follow them, you will be successful. And you can only establish this level of manhood if you follow the message of the Prophet ﷺ and all the Anbiya correctly. But there's also something else that's happening in our societies, my brothers, is that worship is being lost. And worship is one of the biggest characteristics of manhood. You take away worship, he will go back into following his desires, idleness. He will just follow wherever he wants to go, wherever his desires take him. But worship has 2 impacts. It has an external impact on your society and has an internal impact on yourself. Externally, when the Prophet ﷺ migrated from Mecca to Medina, he sat with the people of Khutbah and he established a masjid with the people of Khutbah. And Allah describes the people of Khutbah that Allah says about them, فِيهِ رِجَالٌ. Inside this masjid are true men. In this masjid are these people who fulfill manhood. Why? How? Allah completes the ayah. أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ. أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا. Why are they men? They purify their aqidah. They purify their worship. Not just purifying themselves from things which are impure. They purify themselves from anything which is going to corrupt their manhood. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ. Allah will give this level of manhood to those people who complete this level of purification. This is the external one. So when Khutbah was set, what happened? Muslims became brothers to each other. The Muhajirin and Ansar became brothers together. Society spread with stability because of this external image of worship. But Allah talks about the internal, which is also equally important. Allah describes the internal. فِي بُيُوتٍ أَذِنَ اللَّهِ. In the houses where you find these people, تُرْفَعُ وَيُذْكَرُ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ يُسَبِّحُ لَهُ فِيهَا بِالْغُدُوِّ وَالْآصَالِ. You will find these people worshipping Allah day and night. Who are they? Allah describes them, true men, rijal. The next part of the ayah, the next ayah says, rijal, they are true men. Rijal, لَا تُلْهِيمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. They are not distracted by the dunya. Allah continues, وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ. Another sign of manhood. He established the salah properly, with khushu', with his proper establishment. وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ. He gives the zakat. He's actually very fruitful economically for his society. يَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا تَتَقَلَّبُ فِيهِ الْقُلُوبُ وَالْأَبْصَارُ. He knows that he's going to stand in front of Allah. Every aspect of his day is determined by what he sees as manhood. He doesn't disrespect himself. He doesn't disrespect his manhood. He thinks what he needs to do is correct. He goes by the religion of Allah. And this is how he establishes manhood for himself and manhood for his society. My brothers, imagine if we had men like this. The people of Khutbah, the people that Allah is talking about in this ayah here. How would we be with ourselves? How will our homes change? How will our communities change? How will society change? If we had individuals who established the true meaning of real manhood. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن والسنة. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان في أحسن تقويم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أما بعد اتقوا الله عباد الله في سر والعلن تنجيكم من كل بلايا والفتن قال تعالى إن الله مع الذين اتقوا والذين هم محسنون. My brothers, what's happening in our societies and as individuals is our desires are getting in the way of our actual manhood. This is the problem. If we indulge in kufr and sin, we are taking away our manhood. That's basically what's happening. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يؤمن أحدكم, none of you truly believe, حتى يكون هوا, until his desires are fully in conform, تبعا لما جئت به, fully conform with what I came with. If everybody has desires, if you rectify yourself, you seek to repel your desires, you seek to become better individuals, this will complete you in your manhood. The more you move away from this, the more immature people will become. And this is what's happening. If you look at societies, men are becoming even more shallow. They're becoming even more immature. They're happy with the least bit of desires that you feed for them. What's going to happen to the children of the future? What are they going to look for? There are no actual male role models in society at large. So they're going to look for people who are going to fulfill their desires. So they're going to become those people who fulfill their desires as well. And this is what they will think a true man is. And if you look at a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, he said that there will be 7 people under the arsh, يَوْمَ لَا دِلَّ إِلَّا دِلَّ. That there will be a shade on that day, may Allah make us of them, that none of them will be under that shade except these kind of people. And Allah's Messenger talks about each and every one of them, and He calls them Rijal, Rajul, a man, a true man. And He repeats this message 7 times. And one of them, which is very important, Da'at imra'a, a woman has called him, Dhata mansabin wa jamal. She's very, very beautiful. And she has everything. You can go with her, you'll have a very good time. What does he say? فَقَالَ إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ. He prefers his manhood over his desires. I fear Allah, I can't do this. I'm very, very sorry. I need to respect myself and my manhood. I need to follow what Allah has created me for. This will make me the best of the creation that Allah has possibly made me to become. And because of this following of desires, my brothers, we will see that a lot of homes are broken, unfortunately. A lot of women, they're left without a real man in the house. A lot of children, they don't have a father. So who becomes the role model? Who becomes the educator? And if you look at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, you will see that he was the primary educator. He was the person who was sustaining his family. He was kind to his family. He spent time with them. He gave them their interests. This is what Allah says in the Quran. الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. The men are protectors and maintainers over women. This is your level of manhood. You take your role responsible. You take your role seriously. You're responsible within society. You're responsible as a human being. You don't put people aside because you don't feel like doing it, or you don't feel that it conforms to your desires. You have a stronger desire to do something else. No. The true man who upholds manhood is somebody who's responsible. He realizes that these are the things that he needs to accomplish. But Allah continues, how do we know? Why do we know this? How do we know that a true man is somebody who is responsible? Allah says, فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بِمَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْدُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْدٍ. Because Allah has made you a level of responsibility over your wife. There are going to be things on the Day of Judgment that you are going to be asked that your wife will not be asked. You have more responsibilities. If you uphold those responsibilities, you fulfill your level of manhood. If you come on the Day of Judgment without these responsibilities being fulfilled, then you have sacrificed your level of manhood, which will affect your station in the Akhirah. هذا صلوا وسلموا على رسولكم على امتثالا على أمر ربكم حيث أمركم وقال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اصلح نياتنا وذرياتنا واجعلنا من المتقين إماما. عباد الله، إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.